Hello, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been like 5 months, right? You guys are probably wondering, when is she gonna post another video? Because I did post on Instagram saying that I was gonna go back to posting. Here I am. The camera is like super awkward because I am nursing my little baby here. She's 3 months old now.
Wow.
Very exciting. As y'all see, the title of this video is just me talking about my birth experience. I wasn't too sure if I was ready to explain exactly what happened, but I'm healed from what happened. So as you could tell, it wasn't a very good experience. I'll break it down into segments. So when I first went into labor, I went overdue. And when I say overdue, I mean like I was put on, what's it called? Induce. I remember. I had a planned induction literally the day after I gave birth. She would have stayed in there one more day. I would have had to get induced. And I really did not want that. Contractions are more intense in the beginning. Well, the early contractions are always supposed to be lighter than the ones that you experience during transition because you gotta get ready for the flame, okay? The flame is about to be on. So anyway, it was a Thursday. That morning, I was like really adamant about getting her here. November 30th, I do everything that I can to get her out. I started experiencing cramps, I believe around 2 p.m. is when I started having contractions. Hours go by and I'm still having contractions. Really not that bad. I'm still able to do whatever I want to do. Just kind of like breathing through them. I'm like, okay, it's gone. Going back to my normal thing. They weren't consistent either. These contractions are not consistent. Like, is it even gonna happen today? So then the evening started falling. I'm still having contractions. At this point, we're messaging our doula, which at that time, our doula was actually ill, so she had a backup doula. I'll talk about that in another video. We were messaging her and she was like, basically, try to hang in there. It sounds like I could just be having early contractions. So we went ahead and I started doing some more different things to try to speed up the process. That's when they started getting a little closer after I had tried one thing. And if you guys are interested in the different things that I use to kind of help progress labor, definitely let me know in the comments. I don't mind talking about that. It's just this birth story is kind of like, okay. I'm gonna try to be quick with it and not ramble on. My contractions were starting to get a little more consistent. They were anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes apart. I was not able to sleep at all throughout the whole entire night. Morning comes, we're exhausted. I'm tired of laboring. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just go to the hospital. Like, I've been laboring for over 12 hours. Maybe I'm dilated farther than we think, right? I'm a new mom, guys. I don't know nothing. I'm just like, okay, I'm having contractions. It doesn't feel good. Let's just go to the hospital. So, and that wasn't the plan either. But anyway, that's another story. We went to the hospital and they got us in triage. They checked me. I'm about 3, almost 4 centimeters dilated. First, I'm getting comments. One lady says, well, why did you wait so long to come to the hospital? You could have been induced like last week. Then I had another one that was saying, oh, your contractions are not consistent. We might have to send you home. You just checked me. I am dilated. Okay. Maybe all hospitals have a different policy, but it was just the stuff that they're saying. I'm like, I'm a new mom and I don't know what's happening. Like, can you be nicer to me? They said the beds are all full. There was a room available for me, but they gave it to someone else who was 9 centimeters dilated, which, I mean, I'm like, oh, you know, she's about to have that baby now. I just found it kind of strange, though, that they were so limited on beds. So that was kind of odd. Then they hooked me up to all these monitors, as you know, the protocol. I want to get up. I want to help progress labor a little bit faster. Yes, I should have labored longer at home. But again, I didn't know, guys. I didn't know. They said, well, we need you to stay put because little baby girl's heart rate keeps dropping. I'm like, what are you talking about? Her heart rate keeps dropping. They said every single time you have a contraction, her heart rate goes low. So when they left, I'm looking at the monitor myself, and her heart rate was not going any lower than 140. during my contractions. So I don't know what they were talking about. Maybe they have like a separate monitor that they're able to see in their end that I can't see over here where I am, but I just thought that was really weird. If you've ever had to be bedbound while having contractions with no meds, it ain't nice, okay? This really nice nurse was just like, you know what? You've been in here for 3 hours already, laying in this bed, in the same position. Yeah, you can go ahead and get up. It's fine. I'm like, thank you. So I finally get up. My husband is walking me down the hallway. I'm getting comments. Some person walks by and then says, oh, you better not have that baby on this floor. What? All right, I don't think that's funny to me. Like, this is my first time having a baby. You're saying stuff like that. I don't think that's really funny. I think it's kind of insensitive. My contraction is progressing even more at this point. So then they finally let me know, oh, your room is ready. Great. Get inside the room. I asked for a couple things. The first thing I asked for is if they have a peanut ball, if they have the squat bar that they can hook up to the bed, because I was planning on like just doing everything that I could while I was in that room. I get told, yeah, sure, as long as they're available. Okay. Then I ask, am I okay to like get up and move around my room? No, we still can't. We have to have you hooked up. Baby girl's heart rate is still dropping. Then they tell me, oh, but you're taking a very long time to dilate. We might have to give you Pitocin. Contradiction? I think so. In the bed, I ask again, hey, where's the stuff that I asked for? Can I get up now? No, 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 no. The equipment, oh yeah, I'll get that for you shortly. Still never got it. I'm laying in bed, going through contractions, you know, just kind of working them through. At that point, I did ask for the nitrogen gas, which is basically laughing gas. And I'm using that. It's kind of helping. Kind of annoying though, how you kind of have to like have it to your mouth, but it did help a little bit. I didn't like the feeling of like being high though. That was kind of strange. But I'm trying to go through it, going through it. Then all of a sudden, when the nurse came back and they're kind of just sitting, you know, talking to me, I felt like this gush that came out of me. And I was like, I think I just peed the bed. So then she looked and she was like, I think your water broke. And I'm like, okay. Oh, and prior to that, I did ask him if I can use the tub that they had inside the room, because they actually had like a whole entire tub, what do you call it, like a jacuzzi kind of thing inside their bathroom. And I was asking if I could use that too, but they told me no, I can't get up. I could just lay there the whole entire time. My water broke. So at that point, I'm just like, okay. So she checks me and she says, oh, you're 6 centimeters dilated. So I said, oh, okay. So now the contractions are coming. It's intense, y'all. I'm vomiting, I'm shaking, I'm like screaming my head off because it is intense. And the worst part about it all is I asked them if I can get up, if I can move, if I can do something to distract myself. They told me no. They said you have to lay here and labor. I just thought that that was just so inhumane. They told me that the reason why now that I can't get up is because my water broke and there's a possibility that her cord can drop out and then they'll have to do an emergency C-section. I'm thinking to myself, don't women waters break all the time, just like unexpectedly? At least I thought so, right? Like just unexpectedly their water will break. And you know, they're walking around, they have to do stuff, like don't they have to like get in their car or get in an ambulance, go to the hospital, walk? Like they're walking. So I'm not understanding that. Please comment down below if like your water broke has ever like unexpectedly happened while you were just standing there and walking, and like did anything happen like that? Like did you have to get an emergency C-section? Like I really want to know, because I feel like they were trying to dupe me out. Like I feel like they were just trying to control the situation. But anyway, water broke, so there's no cushion. It's really, really intense. At that point, I'm telling my husband, like, I feel like I'm suffering. Like, I feel like I'm suffering because they're not allowing me to get up. They haven't brought any of the laboring tools, like the peanut ball, the squatting bar, nothing. Like, they haven't brought anything. I just feel like I'm just being laid here to just basically suffer unless I end up getting an epidural. So that's what I ended up doing. I couldn't take it anymore. So I just said, let me just go ahead and get the epidural. And trying to get the epidural when you're already like in transition sucks, because like I said, I was vomiting, I was shaking, I was like in it was intense. I'll just say that it was intense. This is my birth experience. Not everybody else's is not the same. Some people don't even have even any major contractions actually feeling it, which is mind-boggling. That's what I was praying for, but I ain't get that. They're trying to put the epidural in me. I jumped once because they had hit like a nerve, I think. So then she did it again, and you know, once that started kicking in, I was like, okay, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna try to go to sleep.
And I wanted to say that when the lady was putting the epidural on my back, she made a comment. She said that there was basically no point in me trying to act like a superhero, that I don't get a golden badge for giving birth to my baby without medication. And I just thought that it was so demeaning because that's originally what I wanted. So hearing her say that was just very defeating.
So I went to sleep. The backup doula finally comes after I had to experience that all by myself, but I'll talk about that in another video. She comes and I tell her that, hey, you know, I had to get the epidural, you know, they just wanted me to lay here this whole time, and they still never gave me the laboring equipment. And the nurse comes back and she says, hey, can we get that laboring equipment? You know, she's been asking for it like multiple times. Just, oh yeah, sure. She finally brings it. She brings the laboring equipment. At that point, I'm just like, I don't even think there's even point of me even using these things. But then I remember that the doula, not the backup doula, but the doula told me that I can still use the laboring equipment to help progress labor, even though I can't feel anything from the legs down. So we're switching me side to side with the peanut ball, doing all the jazz. So some hours go by. Now remember, I started going into labor on November 30th at 2 p.m. At this point, it's like 6 p.m. on December 1st. So I don't know how many hours that is. I'll just put that on the screen. Oh yeah. And let me just say this too. The nurses, when I was in triage, I did say that I wanted like an all-female staff if possible. But if there wasn't a female doctor who can deliver my baby, then I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not just gonna sit there and like give birth by myself, right? Now that I look back, I probably could have. I asked for an all-female staff. I also asked for my cord to be delayed. I didn't want the cord to be cut immediately. I didn't say anything regarding the placenta. I was still on the fence about it, and at that point I really couldn't even think at all. And I think that was really it. By I think it was like 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock, and I was like, okay, I feel pressure down there. Like, I feel like I have to not really like use the restroom, but it was like something is like pushing. So one of the nurses ended up coming in, and I told her, she said, oh, you're ready to push. I'm like, oh, I am? Oh, okay, I guess I'm ready to push now. So all these people start coming in, they have all these lights on just all over me, and I'm like, okay, I feel so uncomfortable because I'm like butt naked. Like, I understand that they've seen it all, but I just feel so uncomfortable. Like, it was not a very comfortable experience. I asked the lady, I said, hey, even though I have the epidural, I was informed that I could still use a squatting bar, so I can give birth in a squat position using the bar versus being on my back. I don't really want to be on my back doing this. She says, oh yeah, definitely we can do that. So everybody gets in. The female was a midwife. She was the one who was supposed to deliver my baby, but she ends up coming in. Like, first, she already introduced herself to me. I forgot to say that part. I should have wrote down the story and then like looked back at my notes. But she actually told me that she was going to be the one delivering my baby. She actually introduced herself when she came in with the nurse a couple times after. But then she comes in this time when I'm actually ready to push, and this male doctor comes in. Like, I hear like a male voice. I'm like, what's going on? So she says, oh, do you want to deliver the baby? And I'm like, what? No, I asked you. You said you were going to deliver my baby. Why are you now like handing it off to him? So I'm thinking, oh, maybe she has somewhere to be, but she's in the room the whole entire time as he's delivering the baby. What? Like, no. I asked for an all-female staff. If he doesn't have to be here, you were gonna be here anyway. Why aren't you the one delivering my baby? Whatever. They ignored me on that part too. At that point, I'm like, please, my sister, I'm like, hey, can I borrow something for my eyes? So I borrowed like her bonnet, and I'm like putting it over my eyes because I'm just like, okay, I need to be like tuned and like focused into what's happening right now and not focusing on everyone around me right now, because everyone around me is like, it's really making me really anxious and I'm just not liking how I'm feeling right now. So I'm sitting here and they were like, okay, so we want you to push. So I start pushing, right? I start pushing in a way that I think feels good to me. They tell me you're not pushing right. They want me to hold my breath and to hold it and push for 10 seconds like I'm using the restroom. And I told them, I said, I don't want to do that. So then the backup doula literally says, just listen to them. They know what they're talking about. She was there during the meeting with the doula as they were telling me what my rights are in terms of how I give birth and how my delivery is. I already know these things, and she was basically backing out of all of that. So I gave up. I just submitted to whatever the heck they wanted me to do. And I asked him, I said, well, I was told that I can like sit up, like I don't want to be on my back right now because I'm having really bad acid reflux and it's really hard for me to focus on pushing when you guys have me like laying flat on my back like this. Oh, well, we can put up the bed just a little bit, but not too much. Well, can I use the squatting bar? What happened to the squatting bar? Oh no, we can't do that anymore. All right, so I'm submitting to the process. I'm laying there just doing exactly what they tell me to do. It's whatever. At that point, I didn't even realize it. It happened so fast to me. But apparently I was pushing for like an hour and 30 minutes. I had no idea. It felt so fast to me. And it was every single time I felt a huge contraction, they were just like push, 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 push. And I was pushing, I was pushing. I was exhausted. I was so tired. I barely got any sleep when I was taking a nap during the epidural. At this point, though, I was starting to actually feel stuff. Now, this is just my speculation, okay? But my mom was telling me that when the backup doula was flipping me back and forward with the peanut ball, she was trying to tell her to be careful with the epidural in my back, and she said, oh no, it's fine. But I was starting to feel stuff. So I don't know, because I asked them, I said, beforehand, I had asked them about the epidural. I said, is it something that I can control in terms of like how much I get? They said, no, it's a continuous dose all the way through. So I said, oh, okay. But I was starting to feel things. It wasn't just pressure anymore. I understand between like pressure and actually feeling it. I was actually starting to feel my legs, guys. I think the epidural was accidentally moved away or something, and it was no longer going through my body like it was supposed to be. I don't know. That's just a speculation. I believe it was my sister the backup doula told my main doula, which then my main doula told me that he actually grabbed the forceps. Y'all know what forceps do to babies. So, and I had no idea, right? If I would have knew that, like, whatever. But that's what ended up happening at some point while I was pushing. So I'm trying to push. And then, my husband is there, my mom is there, my sister is there, backup doula is there. They're all telling me, Safia, we can see the head. She's almost here. Just keep going. And I'm so tired. I want to give up. Like, I felt so exhausted. I'm like, I just want to give up. Like, I'm so tired. But I'm like, no, she can't get here without me. She can't get here if I don't keep pushing, if I don't keep trying. So I'm pushing. And like I said, I'm able to start feeling stuff at this point. Then, when I pushed her out, I just felt everything tear. That mess hurt so bad. That's why I was just like, I think this epidural ain't working no more, because I'm starting to able to feel stuff. So I felt that. Okay, I felt that. I let it out the most biggest lioness growl, roar that I've ever done in my life. And she was here. She was crying. She was super warm, super sticky and wet. And she was here. And she was on me. And I was so happy. At the same time, I was conflicted. Because it wasn't the fact that things went wrong. There was nothing wrong. She was fine. I was fine. There was nothing actually wrong with us, But the hospital, the backup doula, they made the experience horrific. She's born, right? She's on me. The male doctor says, oh, hey, here, you want to cut the cord? So then my sister steps in and she says, hey, wait, I remember my sister saying that she wants to delay the cord. He said, well, I can only wait 30 seconds. So my husband at that point was just like, okay, fine, I'll just cut it. Because the doctor was literally like holding the scissors like he was about to cut it himself if they weren't going to cut it. So my husband cuts it and she's here. I got to hold on to her for a little bit. At that point, I'm exhausted. I'm barely able to hold her because they have like me all hooked up on my arms and stuff, and they don't want me to move my arms, so I'm not even able to really hold my baby either. So they took her, and I told her, please do not wash her. Like, out of all the things that you guys have not letting me do, can I please just have something that I want out of all this experience? Like, can you please just not wash her for 24 hours? Well, what do you know? They say okay to that. So they don't wash her right away. They just do, the manual checkups, making sure that she's okay. Then they wrapped her up and they gave her back to me. Sorry, my husband's calling me. I'm gonna call him back in just a second. My mom is holding her while they're taking care of me because I had to get stitches. I had 2nd-degree tearing. So they're giving me stitches, they're washing me down there and taking care of me. I mean, and when I say after I gave birth, when I say everybody booked. Like, they barely even said congratulations to me. It was like, okay, we did the thing, peace. And they were all out. I then was just like, okay, I want to hold my baby. And like I said, he had me hooked up to all this stuff, so I was barely able to hold her without like the beeper always going off for like whatever they had me hooked up to my arm. So that was really annoying. My birth experience. My ending thoughts on the matter and what I feel like I should have did differently. One, I definitely should have just waited. I should have just stayed home and labored out as long as possible. Whatever that would have looked like, whatever time frame that would have looked like. Two, I feel like I should have never hired a doula in the first place. Maybe I should have just hired someone else. She was someone that was recommended to me by someone that I was familiar with. And while the doula herself was amazing, her backup doula was trash. And yeah, that's just that. Thirdly, I tried my best to stand up for myself, but throughout that whole entire experience, it was a lot. I feel like I should have saw someone after that because it was really traumatic. I found myself like crying all the time for like almost 2 months, really. I really should have just went and saw someone. Now, the reason why I say that those are the only things is because back then I was beating myself up saying, I should have, when he told me, when I heard him say only 30 seconds, I should have said, no, I know my rights. But I just gave birth. Like I was so exhausted. There was no way I could I was just too tired. I was just too tired to say anything. And it wasn't that I didn't want to. It's not that I was scared. I did try to advocate for myself plenty of times during that whole entire experience. But it's like when you get to a point where it's like you're constantly being denied left and right, you kind of just give up. You're too exhausted at that point, expending yourself. At the end of it all, my baby girl was born, and for a while I couldn't even look at her pictures because it would just bring me to tears of like what happened that day. And I felt like she wasn't given the opportunity of the birth that I wanted her to have. Like her welcoming onto the earth side was not the way that I wanted it to be for her, and the experience of me being a first-time mom was not the way that I wanted it to be for myself. I'm telling you, hands down, it is not because of the pain. The pain was not why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. I was willing to go through it. It's because every single time that I tried to advocate for myself and tried to speak up for myself, and I knew what I am allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do, I kept being told no, left and right. And at the end, that's what happened. I'm a lot better now. Baby girl is doing amazing. So that's pretty much my birth story. It wasn't great, but the ending result but she was here. Yeah, if you guys are interested in knowing like what were some of the things that I did in terms of like helping labor progress, if you're interested in knowing labor progressing in terms of like making it start, period, and you know, getting to that like, okay, it's happening portion, just let me know and I'll make a video on that. I'll also be making a couple more videos on what I have been doing in terms of my postpartum journey. So if you're interested in that, please make sure you give this video a like and comment down below that you'd be interested in that type of video so I can go ahead and make it. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.